Today is All Saints Sunday, and on All Saints, we remember those who have gone on before us into heaven. And I always think about my grandmother because I love her and I miss her so much. She had a hilarious sense of humor. For instance, after my grandfather died, she ended up moving to Birmingham, but his tombstone was still in Mobile. And so she would have my dad drive to his grave, put his cell phone on speaker, and she would talk to my grandfather and tell him what was going on. And that always, like I would go with them sometimes, and I would sit in the car because that would embarrass me. I was like, Dad's just sitting out there with his cell phone. And as she reached the end of her life, she knew that she was about to die, and she asked my dad to go do this one last time. So he went and he put his cell phone on speaker, and she said, "Charles, probably gonna be seeing you soon if you're in heaven. So if you could put a good word for me, that would be great." But then she paused and said, "But if you're not in heaven, don't mention my name to anybody." Like, my dad was falling down laughing in the cemetery. It was hilarious, and it was just like her. And I miss her all the time. Like, I miss all of the comments that she would make. I'm sad that she did not get to meet my kids. Like, I miss her. And when she was sick, there were times when I asked God if he would heal her. And God did not do that on this side of the kingdom of God. He said no to me. Sometimes God says no to us, and we don't understand why. In the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus goes to the Garden of Gethsemane, and he asked God to take this cup from him. He prayed to God. He said, "Take this cup from me," because he knew that he was about to be crucified, that he was about to be hurt, that he was about to die, and he was scared. He said, "Take this cup from me." But then he said, "Let your will be my will." And so when God said no, Jesus accepted it. But if God had said yes to Jesus, where would we be today? Where would our salvation be if God had said yes to Jesus? Sometimes we may not understand why God says no to us. We may not understand why things happened the way that they happen. But we should also remember that sometimes those no's lead to really beautiful yeses. That while my grandmother was not healed on this side of the kingdom, she is with God forever. She is healed. She is free. And while I miss her every day. There's not a day that I don't think about her. I also know that when I get to heaven, she will be waiting for me. And I'm really glad about that. Sometimes God says no to us. It's not because God doesn't love us. It's not because God doesn't want to say yes. But those no's are a part of life, and they lead to really beautiful blessings. So when God says no, trust the no. Trust that God is going to be with you, and know that God's love will sustain you. God bless.